Hello there.
General Kenobi!
You are listening to Mando Talk, your home for the Mandalorian chapter breakdowns, speculation, and all kinds of Star Wars fun. Well, welcome back, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there, to another episode of Mando Talk, and we have got to talk about the finale, the granddaddy of them all, Chapter 16, The Rescue. Nolan Ferris, welcome back into the studio. Glad to have you.
Good to be back.
It's good to have, this episode is the best episode you could possibly be back in, so let's freaking go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
B.A., Brandon, what's up?
Oh, you know. It's a great episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have Jacob Keller back with us as well.
How's it going, y'all? I'm stoked to be here, stoked to talk about this beautiful episode. I'll say that, beautiful.
Yeah,
That's what I thought of it.
It was beautifully shot, beautifully directed, beautifully written,
Beautifully ended.
beautifully performed, beautifully everything.
Beautifully scored.
Yes, everything from the beginning to end. I am well pleased. Expectations exceeded. And let's just let's just go ahead and get into it.
Go ahead and hit him with a spoiler warning up top.
Spoiler
We always
heavy.
forget it.
Yeah.
Don't get spoiled. You do not want this episode, this chapter of The Mandalorian spoiled for you. If you have not seen Chapter 16, The Rescue, hit pause and come back to us after you've spent about 45 minutes watching Chapter 16 of The Mandalorian. So it was written by Jon Favreau, the man himself. I can't say enough about Favreau at this point. I think we've said everything possible about Favreau. He's delivering, and he's making a lot of Star Wars fans happy, especially tonight. And directed by Peyton Reed. So the individual that directed Chapter 10, the Frog Lady episode, Ant-Man and the Wasp, all of those things, he was back. And I know that news came out before today. Came out yesterday. I think Pedro Pascal talked about it. And a lot of people were like, well, I'm not really looking forward to that based on Chapter 10, I believe. But I feel like he delivered.
Oh, yeah,
I
he
do
did.
too.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Very much so.
It was perfect,
Yeah.
and I think we've already hit on that. It was perfect, so let's just dive into it, okay?
All right.
The very beginning of the episode, we start off hot.
Uh-huh.
Slave 1 is chasing an Imperial shuttle. We find out that Dr. Pershing is on that Imperial shuttle, and they talk about how he is, in fact, a clone engineer. I think we've already gotten confirmation of that, but there's double down, triple down of that if you still didn't know that.
Right.
Cara Dune goes off. Really cool opening moment there with that precise shot that knocked out that Imperial.
Yeah, he
shuttle
struck
Pilot.
a nerve.
Yeah.
He struck a nerve heavy in that scene with the the pilot or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That was some interesting kind of perspective going back to was it New Hope?
Yeah,
Yeah, going back to the rebellion.
going all the way back to where this whole galaxy started, basically.
Yeah, so the pilot said that he was on the Death Star, and Cara Dune asked which one.
Yeah, and that got under his skin a little bit. Yeah, they were poking fun at each other there, or getting under each other's skins.
But just the verbiage that was used there, it gives you some sort of perspective, the different sides and everything. Because he says, your little planet was a small price to pay to rid the galaxy of terrorism.
Right.
That's how they're seeing it.
Right. Yeah,
that's it's a united system, whatever, under the Empire.
And it's always
really
good
being all conquered, but
yeah, it's always good to see it from that aspect too, because I think we've always touched on it, and I think we honestly point it out every time it comes up. Every time we get to peel back the layer a little bit and see what the bad guys see and see why they think they're good, it's always interesting.
Yeah.
that's my favorite. I mean, I think they need to do a dark side movie.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to be getting
cool to
one
see.
of those TV shows
We'll be getting a
with
series. We talked about it a little bit last
the
week.
Acolyte. I think that one's going to be one of those that delivers that. Now, I do have a question about this opening scene. Tracking, as far as how they got there, for me personally, are y'all good with just diving straight into it and just assuming they figured out where this Imperial shuttle was, or do y'all still want answers to that, or do you? And one thing that I possibly thought of was the pilot's co-pilot like he seemed kind of iffy and seemed like he might have been feeding information to people. I don't know.
I think he just
wasn't
wasn't willing to die when he could hand over the doctor and live.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm okay with Boba Fett being the pilot of the slave and him being a bounty hunter his entire life, having the ability to track people across the galaxy just because that's what he's done his entire life.
No, that's a good point. And we should probably just trust that Boba Fett is good at tracking the things and people that he needs to track down.
I mean, they get the tracking number, the chain code
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
right. Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if they've got like a computer or whatever they type that into and then it tells them the coordinates or whatever.
Maybe.
I'm assuming that's sort of how it works.
Yeah.
Like a GPS.
Well, they probably punch in coordinates just like they did in the Falcon throughout the entire...
yeah, it's like, find my phone. You know,
maybe they got...
plug in the phone number.
Maybe they got the location of this shuttle from the data that they got from that terminal.
True. Yeah, and I guess I was just thinking he was solely focused on Moff Gideon's cruiser.
Yeah.
That I just didn't really know how exactly they found that shuttle. But hey, I'm good with it. I just wanted to throw that quick discussion out there with that opener. I really enjoyed the opening sequence. And so once they finish that opening sequence, they take Dr. Pershing captive, and they also hold on to that Imperial shuttle, which is going to be an important part in their plan later.
Yeah.
But before they start that plan, Din has someone in mind that he wants to go find. And me and Jacob, I think we knew it as soon as we get to this planet, we see this Mandalorian ship.
Yeah.
It's Bo-Katan. And I was really excited in the fact that she was back. It makes sense. It makes sense with this episode, but also the future of whatever they decide to do with the Mandalorian. What was y'all's thoughts on that just cantina kind of scene there? BA, I'll go to you first with that. What do you think about Bo's confrontation, specifically with Boba Fett there, kind of heated there at the first few minutes?
I was just going to say...
Throwing shade.
I was just going to say, it's like a lot of Star Wars fans that have probably gotten the news that Boba is a Mandalorian. I think Bo-Katan and I forget her... Casca Reeves have the same reaction a lot of us did. They're like, nah, he's still not a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And they even call him a clone at one point, and that they've heard his voice a million times.
Yeah.
So, a lot of throwing shade between this
I thought it
group.
was I thought it was particularly interesting that she said, "You bring shame to that armor."
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
man.
Oh,
calling him out.
It's about to go down.
Yeah.
Like when he said, and then he's like, "It's my father's armor."
Dude, that was
I was like, "Oh my gosh."
Okay, Tamara Morrison, what's up?
Yeah,
glad you're in
what
studio.
up now? Y'all need some voiceover?
Now, I do want to give props, the acting too. As soon as Boba Fett said something, like Bo-Katan was sitting there and immediately recognized that's a clone voice. So I know you're not Mandalorian because I've heard that voice thousands of times. That was awesome to me. And again, props to the acting on that.
It's easy to forget that, and I don't know. It's easy for me to just be like, I forgot that, and then when it comes back up, you're like, oh my goodness, she's right. I mean, and then you start thinking about, okay, Bo-Katan's past and what she's done, and the work she's done with clones.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
Now, I would personally love to know what planet that was on. I'm not sure we've seen that planet before. I'm sure maybe it's been mentioned in canon before somewhere, but I would love to know just a title of exactly where they're at. I'm sure it's probably close to Mandalore.
BA said it looks like Ohio.
Because
all the smokestacks and...
I gotcha. No, I'm assuming it would be close in coordinate to Mandalore if that's where they're trying to go.
Maybe.
Well, again, but Bo is still trying to find Moff, so I don't know. Maybe she's kind of on the tails of Moff Gideon as well, and again, Boba and Din are just good at tracking people down. But again, I would still just love to know exactly where she was and kind of get to know exactly her mission as well.
That's something else I was going to say too, and was going to ask you guys about. When Din walks in, he's like, I'm looking for Moff Gideon, or I need your help to go to Moff Gideon, and she's like, he can't be found. Do you think she's given up?
I forgot about that.
Do you think she had given up trying to find him?
I don't think she had. I think it's just that she hadn't really thought of any other way to find the coordinates that they needed to find him, because she isn't in cahoots with anyone who's an ex-Imperial who could get access to a terminal, for example, and get those coordinates. You know what I mean? I don't think she'd given up. I think she's just, you know,
probably down and out. I mean, just like us on a daily basis, sometimes we have hard days and we're just like, nah, I ain't doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I need a break.
Nah, bro.
Yeah. I think it's just one of those moments. I think she's very dedicated to getting that saber and getting back to Mandalore. Now, there is one thing, though, to quickly mention as we're kind of talking about Mandalore. The reason why Bo-Katan commits to, well, not necessarily the reason. I think it's, again, somebody else that cares for the child as they go along. Just somewhere in their heart, they find care for him and want to save him. But Bo-Katan gets Din Djarin to essentially commit to her cause, getting back to Mandalore and making Mandalore great again. And I think that was a really cool moment for me, because I think that teases at the future of the Mandalorian again. Yeah. Because I think after this season, maybe that's where the shift of focus for Din and Bo specifically go from here.
Yeah, she says, if I help you on this mission, then I'll ask you, if we accomplish it, I'll ask you to reconsider your joining my cause.
Right. And and he says, that's when he says, fair enough, right? Okay, yeah. I like that line.
One thing I'm curious about, we see that on their journey to find Moff Gideon and everything after they team up or whatever, you know, she is very adamant. And we don't really understand why, or I didn't understand why.
I got you.
Me being a novice in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But we understand why towards the end of the episode of why she's so adamant that she has to, like, Moff Gideon's mine.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense now. But he's not really caring. Like, Din Djarin is like, I don't care anything about this. I just want to, like,
want to
I
get
just
the
want
kid
my
back.
baby back.
Yeah, I think he's just, again, solely focused on that mission at hand at first. And I think once he does get Grogu back and he finishes the mission of getting him to a Jedi, then I think we'll see him turn a little bit and be more focused in on getting back to Mandalore.
Well, and we kind of see him kind of double cross
more.
Yeah, this is season 3 speculation.
Yeah.
Did you guys feel like he double crossed Bo-Katan there for a minute? When he was in there with Moff Gideon, he was like, "Look, I don't care. You can keep the Darksaber. I just need the child back."
That's a good point, and that is actually something that I kind of thought about.
And I was like, "Ooh, and there for a second, dude, I thought it was gonna be over. Like, just walk out, and then the fight was gonna be between Moff Gideon and Bo-Katan." But
yeah, no, I don't know exactly, but I think, I don't know, I think Din probably in the back of his mind knew that Bo and crew had the ship pretty much contained at that point. So if he did just walk out with Grogu, he probably felt like Bo and Cara and everyone else could probably handle the situation. But I don't know. That's a good, interesting question. I think Moff Gideon is one of those characters that's always thinking ahead of the game too.
Oh yeah.
So I think everything in that scenario played out perfectly for Moff, but again, we'll get to that a little bit later. Incredible stuff when we do get to that cruiser. But before we get there, real quickly, I think, again, something else to point out, that something that you might have missed, Dr. Pershing, while they're kind of coming up with their plan, just real quickly mentions that it's third generation Dark Troopers. I thought that was really interesting because I know
we did talk about
it seems like a long time ago, but like three episodes ago we talked about what phase these troopers were going to be in. I guess it turns out they're in the third phase, which they're full droids. And man, they show down later too. But
I'm going to go ahead and admit I was wrong on in several speculations throughout this episode. You know, Boba Fett didn't die. Spoiler, we'll get there. Just wait. But Boba Fett didn't die. And then we thought that the third generation Dark Troopers were going to be suits. And Moff Gideon was going to get in one.
Yeah.
Wrong again.
Yeah, we were wrong. Our perfect record did not last the entire season. That's for sure.
Just about
That
it.
is for sure.
Just about it.
Now, That was the last time that we saw Dr. Pershing.
Where did he go?
That's a great question. I think it is possible that he escaped on that cruiser.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Well,
I think
not the
he's
cruiser.
in the
Sorry,
ship with
not
Boba
the cruiser.
Fett.
The shuttle. Like once they all,
did they have him on the shuttle?
he was on the shuttle as they
Oh.
were approaching. Now I don't know if if they switched location, if they put him in the Slave One after they came up with that plan.
Yeah.
Because Boba wasn't in there when they were making that plan either. So Boba was already in the Slave One. So I don't know how exactly or where exactly he went. But regardless, he's still alive. I think. I mean, 100%. I think he's still alive until.
I think he's too big of a character.
Yeah, until
not
he's
show.
shown dead, he's still out there doing whatever he's got to do for Moff Gideon's future plans.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw it out there. Go for it.
Speculation. I know
Okay.
we're trying to stick away from that, but speaking on that, he's a cloning scientist.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the last time we're seeing clones in Star Wars. In about 20 years, you're going to have Snoke. So maybe
Right.
he's either escaped or goes with Boba Fett, and Boba Fett sells him to the New Republic or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll eventually get an answer for it for sure.
But
I do
I
like
don't
your
think he's
take on
dead,
that.
and I think he will be used, and we will see him again
Yeah.
to recreate Snoke or help, Palpatine come back.
Mm-hmm.
Something we'll get clarification on that.
No, I have no doubt about that either. I think he's heavily connected in that storyline somewhere. It just depends on where they want to tell it.
Well, let me
'Cause
ask
now
you
we
this.
got like 4 or 5 different shows where they could tell that story. So
Yeah.
we'll just see when it happens.
Here's another thing too that I thought about. Boba Fett is a clone,
Mm-hmm.
and if Dr. Pershing does go with him, he's gonna recognize that voice, and then they
yeah.
might get to talking. But I think Boba Fett being a clone will tie in some way with it, and he might know Jango, or
It's
which
possible.
I know that's a long time ago, but
Yeah, it's possible. Any other thoughts on that kind of scene before we get into the heavy action of the episode? There is one more thing, though, that I just thought of. Dr. Pershing also, or someone mentioned, Cara Dune mentioned that Moff Gideon was ex-ISB.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that was interesting. Is he, so I know before the season started, we talked about how he was an Inquisitor.
Yeah,
Is he
we
no longer
speculated
that?
about that.
Is he, are we throwing that off the table?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay.
what is ISB?
Imperial Security Bureau.
Yep.
Basically like FBI, kind of.
CIA.
CIA a little bit.
CIA
for
of the Empire.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess that throws the Inquisitor idea off the table.
Yeah.
Because he's not necessarily wanting to kill Grogu. He's just taking his blood. Which
Well,
they could go
I
hand in
don't know
hand,
about
though.
that.
Yeah, they could go in hand. Anyway, I thought that was cool. We just get that little plug there as far as Moff Gideon's past being ex-ISB, and then we get into the action. So, Bo-Katan, Casca Reeves, Cara Dune, and Din Djarin land and crash that Imperial shuttle inside the cruiser, and Boba Fett skirts. He gets out of there. I was kind of surprised by that. I thought Boba was somehow going to be involved with the action, but we kind of got Boba in the action the past 2 episodes, so I was okay with that. I'm glad that we focused more so on these other characters. But I will say, once they get out of that shuttle, the action that the 4 ladies have, Bo, Casca, Cara, and Fennec, incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Great action, incredible movements, perfection, in my opinion. But
They
yeah,
took
what do you
over-
think about those 4 being together?
They took over a whole ship.
Yeah, they
Just
did.
4 people.
They
I was
essentially
gonna say
did.
they worked very well together. They were like trained. It seemed like
Right.
to just mow down all the stormtroopers in
Yeah.
their way.
Now, that's a group of people again, and I think I said it about Fennec and Cara from last week. I want to see those 4 together some more.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
In any way possible, it'd be awesome to continue to
It
see
built
that.
on last episode's Fennec and Cara being together. They just added 2
Yeah.
more to the picture, and
So-
it seemed to work even better.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cara and Fennec have a little connection now, and then Bo and Casca obviously have a connection, and so now they brought those 2 duos together. So yeah,
Which I thought there might be some hiccups because when Bo-Katan said that she first wanted Moff Gideon, Kara was like, "No, we need him alive," and I thought there was going to be a rift there, but I think once they got on the ship, they kind of ironed out those details.
Yeah, I think so.
Neither one of them got him.
Now, when Din finally gets involved in the mission, he's trying to get close to Grogu, and he's trying to shut down the Dark Troopers from being fully activated.
Yeah.
He fails as far as at least one of them breaks out. What'd y'all think about that fight sequence between the Dark Trooper and Din Djarin?
Oh, my goodness. It was intense. Okay, by this point in the episode, I think my heart was racing because something bad could have gone down.
Yeah.
And, God, he takes a beating. I don't know how he's walking after that, honestly. I don't know how he's walking and using his right arm after that.
Yeah.
Because just seeing how strong the Dark Troopers look, it looks like they could twist your arm out of socket like
a Wookiee.
Yeah. like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And then bashing his head into the wall. Oh my gosh, what did y'all think of that?
That was pretty cool.
That helmet's got to be super strong.
No doubt. No doubt.
One thing I was noticing is the lightsaber was superheating the Beskar. And I thought that it was going to heat it up and then melt it and cut through it.
Are you talking about Moff Gideon and so the Darksaber with Din Djarin?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right. You went ahead of what I was thinking. Yeah, no, I agree with that. That was really interesting to see too. I thought the
Darksaber was going to burn through the Beskar spear.
Yeah, no, it looked like that. It looked like it was going to do that.
Like every time you'd see it get red and yellow and bright white, and I was like, oh, here it comes, and then they would slide down.
Yeah, no, that fight scene was incredible too, between Moff and Din. Now, one thing to
end the fight with the Dark Trooper, Din finally gets out from the grappling of this droid. He whips out that spear and finally gets it in the neck.
Right.
That's a weak spot.
And then also BA, you kind of seemed a little disappointed in this moment. He shoots all the Dark Troopers out of the cruiser, and we thought that was it.
Don't worry, they come back.
Yeah, they definitely come back.
They fly now?
They fly now. So, yeah, Din thinks that he successfully gets rid of all the Dark Troopers.
Yeah.
And so he then goes to Moff where their showdown occurs. And this heavy tension in this scene between the conversation with Din.
He's got the Darksaber hovering over Grogu the entire time.
I mean, that just sets up a tense moment. And Moff actually offers for Din to take Grogu. He's like, you know what, just take him. I got what I want from him. I got his blood, so we're all good.
I see the bond that you have with him.
Yeah, and Din,
he's doing fake tears.
Din is obviously silly to think the fact that he's just gonna be able to pick up Grogu and walk out of there, and that's when Moff sees his opportunity to strike.
Yeah.
And here's a moment that I think maybe Moff planned, and we can go ahead and transition.
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit too. I personally feel like Moff might have lost that battle on purpose because he knew the confrontation that was going to cause with Din and Bo.
Absolutely. That's what I think, 100%.
Okay.
Because we know that Giancarlo Esposito has talked about how he would get Din Djarin to fight his own battles for him, right? And then we see how...
I forgot about that quote. Yeah.
Then we see how, he's smart. When he gets up to the bridge and, Bo-Katan sees that Din has the Darksaber.
She's not happy.
She's ticked. He's smiling the whole time.
With blood.
He's like, he's smiling. He knows what he's just done.
Yeah. I think he planned that. Now, I will give Din some credit. I mean, he dueled pretty well.
Yeah.
But still, I do think Moff played it a little easy on him just so that confrontation would occur.
Yeah. And then It's like he knew that he was going to be spared too, right?
Yeah.
He said, "You're going to spare me? This is going to be interesting."
Right. And again, I think it attests to the fact that he knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So we do finally get to the bridge end.
Well, why do y'all think that Din decided to spare him?
Because I think that's just how Din is, personally.
Because Din doesn't care about anything that has to do with the Darksaber, Mandalore. He doesn't care about the dark side, the light side, Imperial, the New Republic. He doesn't care about any of it.
I think he's just there to get Grogu.
He is just there for, like he said Grogu is, or the child is my only priority.
Yeah.
That's all he is there to do.
Right.
And that is it. Like, he does not care about anything else. He's like, I'm not going to kill you. It doesn't matter to me. And he's like, I know that they really want you. And so he took them to him. I mean, what if he would have killed him and then Bo-Katan would have been, well,
even
he didn't
more
know
mad.
Well, he didn't know that, like, you know, she's the one that had to beat him, but he was just thinking, okay, well, they wanted him, so I'm going to take you to him.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really, I don't think there's any underlying, like,
all right,
outside of Din's, for me personally, I just saw it as Din's revealed his heart lately as just being somebody that's not as brutal as maybe we thought.
Yeah.
Necessarily, but I also like
softy.
I also like that take that again, he's just there for Grogu and he knows that Bo wants Moff, so he was gonna take him. And also Cara wants him alive too.
Yeah.
I think that also probably played a part.
Bo-Katan just wanted to beat him so she could get and then she's like, well, after you can have him after I get done with him.
Yeah. Agreed.
I just need one thing from her or something. She said something along those lines.
Right. So I think it comes back to those two things, I guess, now that we've kind of talked that out. Both Cara and Bo want him, so he holds off. He stops there. So they do finally get to the bridge, and then again, that's where Bo gets conflicted, which brings me like a really interesting point here in question. Star Wars Rebels, Bo-Katan is given the Darksaber by Sabine. Same situation. Bo did not win the Darksaber when she got it. Mm-hmm. She didn't duel somebody to get it. Sabine gave it to her. The only difference is Sabine and Bo-Katan were alone. No one else was around, so Bo accepted the gift, and she went out there and toted it, acting like she was the next ruler of Mandalore.
The next Mandalore.
Right. So my question here, and I guess it's not really a question, but it's more so kind of my opinion with this. I feel like if no one else had been around, she would have been like, yeah, I'll take it, and I'll reclaim Mandalore kind of the first way that I wanted to do it. But because there's an audience, I think she knows she can't.
Well, and that was kind of stoked up. That's why I think Moff Gideon was like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And he's sitting here thinking like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get her goose right here. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, yeah, you can't take that. You can't take that and still have honor. You can't do it.
Yeah.
You can't do it. And she's like, well, crap, he's right.
Yeah.
But like if you said, and if nobody was around, she'd have been like, oh, really? Wow, thanks.
But
I beat him,
But again, part of me also feels like maybe, and that's part of it, 100%. But I also think maybe Bo possibly learned the first time around that maybe she shouldn't just accept it as a gift, because obviously the first time around she wasn't able to successfully.
She didn't have the strength
Mandalore
to keep it and keep Mandalore.
And so maybe she's more dedicated to following those Mandalorian rules with the Darksaber this time around.
Yeah,
I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, and gaining it by strength and not by being given it.
Mm-hmm.
And to play off of that, he does say that the Darksaber has no power.
Yeah.
It's a story, basically.
It's the story, and maybe I think that is a little bit on the lines of what you guys are saying. Like, yeah, she lost it because it's a story, and she didn't follow the rules of the book.
Yeah, something like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a cool way to put it.
Yeah. Man, I love all of these Mandalorian like lore and culture things. And again, that was one of the things we came into with season 2 wanting, and as far as I'm concerned, they delivered.
Yeah.
I still have questions, obviously, like how did Moff get the Darksaber in the first place?
What exactly happened with the Purge? and what does Mandalore look like now?
Yeah.
Where people continually call it, the Empire made it into glass.
Yeah, Boba says that directly, I think, in this episode.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff. Really cool stuff there. Now, let's go ahead and get to this part. The Dark Troopers come back. Surprise, BA. They're back. They're relevant still. I mean, are they relevant, though? In the end, they were really just there for epic action.
I mean, yeah.
But the crew seems dead. Like, there's no way out of this. They're caving into the bridge. But then we see an X-Wing. And I'm going to pause there. And I'll pause there. And let's just go around. Let's go around the table. When you saw the X-Wing, did you think it was, in fact, Luke Skywalker? BA, yes or no?
My naive mind, I was like, it's that dude from the Spider Ice Planet or whatever.
Yeah, the
I was like, it's going to be them,
pilot.
and there's going to be a bunch behind them.
Yeah,
but then, it's like, as soon as it landed, I was like, there's no way. That'd
be anticlimactic, honestly. That's an interesting take. I kind of agree with that a little bit. That was one of the thoughts that came into my mind. Jacob, what about you when you saw that X-Wing?
For the first 5 seconds, I was like, is a fleet gonna jump out of hyperspace behind it?
Mm-hmm.
But then when I saw that it
focused in on it alone,
landed on the ship, I was like, y'all heard me. I was like, no way.
Okay. And Nolan, what'd you think as soon as you saw the X-Wing? Go ahead. Yeah. This is the moment.
So Star Wars fans, they're certain types of people, and we are among those.
Yes, we are. Guilty.
But when it comes to something like this,
yes,
follows the rules of social media.
Follow the rules, man. Come on.
I mean,
golly.
Don't post a picture of a green lightsaber in front of the child. You big D-bags.
Goobers. So, in other words, you were spoiled.
I did have it spoiled for me.
I'm really sorry for that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't my fault, so I'm not apologizing on my behalf or anything.
But I didn't spoil it for you
went through
guys.
that. Yeah, we appreciate that.
But the main event, it did spoil it for me.
Okay. Now,
it was disappointing.
Yeah.
That
I didn't get to, that it got spoiled for me. The thing wasn't disappointing, but when I saw it, I was like,
oh, yeah.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are you gonna say? It's awesome. I mean,
yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie. After it got spoiled, I just went ahead and started reading some of the comments, and I knew the whole episode.
Oh man!
So I fell into the rabbit hole.
Oh
but,
man! Okay. Okay.
But I didn't see it in my mind the way you guys were talking about it. So seeing it was amazing, obviously.
Okay, that's good to hear.
And the one thing that I was super excited to see and that didn't get spoiled for me was R2-D2.
Okay, no, that's good.
So I was like, wow.
Yeah, R2-D2 here on the table.
Finally
Go
made
ahead.
it to the table.
There he is. Now, it does stink that you were spoiled with that. Yeah, hush, R2. We're trying to talk. The music, though, as scene was going on, and it wasn't your traditional Star Wars music.
Yeah.
It was more, and first of all, the music throughout the episode, let's just bring attention to that real quick while I'm here. But yeah, I'll go ahead and say it. I got misty-eyed.
I did too.
Pretty heavily. I mean, and let's
just be honest. It was coming a downpour.
Okay. Let's put it back in the scene of the movie, and then we can explain why me and Caleb got emotional because we're such Star Wars dorks.
Yeah, you explain it.
The dark troopers have taken over the ship. They're about to break into the bridge and kill everybody. And then we see the X-Wing has landed on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see a figure in a dark cloak.
Hooded figure.
Walking through the hallways.
All black.
Yep.
Now, I will say this too. On the screen, the saber looks white. So I'm sure some people out there were like, Ahsoka's back.
Yeah.
But after we see Grogu's ears perk up, and then I think, is this when Moff attempts to off himself?
Mm-hmm. He attempts to kill Bo-Katan. Then he attempts to kill the child. Then he attempts to kill himself.
Okay. And then it
fails
flashes.
in all three.
Yeah, he does. I'm glad.
Stick to the darksaber.
I'm glad that Kara came through there because,
Yeah.
again, I would be upset if we were done with Moff Gideon because I still have tons of questions.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the scene. And then, so we finally then get confirmation as he's walking across like that bridge that it's a green saber. And then they even zoom in a little bit on his hilt.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I was like, all right, Luke Skywalker. Because, to be honest, up until I saw the hilt, there was a chance that was Ezra Bridger. He's got a green saber.
Yeah.
So up until they showed the hilt,
for me, it was
kind of iffy.
For me, and like I said, I knew it, but the confirmation for me was you see his hand go this way, and it's a bare hand.
Yeah.
And then you see his hand go this way,
It's a
and it's a
glove.
glove. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and kind of
And
back
he's slicing through the Dark Troopers with ease.
with ease. And
Where-
the Force abilities.
Yeah. Yeah.
BA, you were touching on this earlier. What were your thoughts on this iteration of Luke Skywalker?
I wish it was present in the sequels, but
I knew you would say that.
I'm glad that Favreau and Filoni saved the
Okay.
character for me personally.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Now
Saved the character.
Saved the character.
Big statements
Man.
here on Mando Talk.
Man.
I mean,
We are
okay.
making it happen.
I mean, we know that he's gonna have a fall here soon,
Right. But I do think that it's cool to still see that, yes, Luke
He is
Skywalker.
very powerful.
Luke Skywalker is the Luke Skywalker that you always imagined him to be. But here in about 20 years, he's going to lose somebody to the dark side that he really loves. And he probably viewed as a son, honestly.
Yeah.
So I do think, I know there's people out there that are like, oh, this Luke's so much better than the sequel Luke. And I get that. I get that take. But we got to, again, keep in mind, this is all canon. So it's the same Luke. And I think that's just really important to point out that I think it helps. Does it help you a little bit with like understanding Luke Skywalker in the sequels or coping with it at least?
Probably not. If I think about it, I was just
See
gonna.
him, he's like,
Fair enough.
I was just gonna pose the question.
Fair enough.
And this probably isn't appropriate for the episode we're doing right now because I know
anything's
we'll
appropriate, man.
speculate a little bit more. But we know that he's gonna be a bad teacher, right? Because
Yes.
he's gonna have Kylo turn.
Well,
With Ben,
What's
at
gonna happen
least.
to Grogu if he's getting subpar
So I've
teaching?
been wondering
That's a great
that,
question.
too.
That's
We're
a
saving
terrific
that.
question.
let's save that question.
To the end of this episode,
If not in this episode, the next episode.
I don't know.
Yeah,
we might
when
touch
we do
on
the
it a little bit.
speculation for season 3.
I do feel like it might be
At least.
natural for us to at least touch on it tonight
Okay.
a little bit.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and just do it since he asked.
well,
Let's go ahead and talk about
And
I
it.
yeah,
want
I
to
did-
talk about one more scene.
Okay,
Well,
let's
what were
wait,
you gonna
let's
say,
wait.
BA?
All right.
What were you gonna say, BA?
I was just gonna put emphasis on the subpar teaching part of that.
Okay.
Okay. I think, personally, we're not done with Grogu. I think Grogu is going to have one of those moments that Luke has in Empire Strikes Back, that Rey has in The Last Jedi, where they sense that their friends are in trouble.
Oh.
And I think Grogu is going to sense somehow that Bo and Din are really close to getting to Mandalore, getting that accomplished, and he's going to feel that tremor in the Force. And obviously, Grogu can't hop in an X-Wing or a Falcon to take off and go to save the day like
Yeah,
those
he's only
other
got
two
6
characters.
fingers.
But maybe he talks and he's able to relate to Luke about it because Luke's been in the same situation before, and he comes back that way. And I don't know if that even answered your question, man.
Okay.
But to kind of go back to your question, I do think that he's not around for the Ben Solo fallout. So I do think that Luke is still a very solid teacher for Grogu, and I think we'll see a very powerful Grogu the next time we see him.
Okay.
Ben
right
Solo
on.
is probably, what, 4 or 5 right now?
3 or 4. I would say it probably took 1 to 2 years for Leia and Han to get a little busy, but
Well,
Okay.
I mean, you got to think. So they start the training very young.
yeah. Well, and he's already been training. Oh, you're talking about Ben still.
Ben.
Sorry. Gotcha.
So do you think he's in the custody of Luke now?
I don't think so, not yet.
You don't.
I don't think yet, personally.
I mean, they start pretty young.
I would have to look back at the Kylo Ren comics. There's been stuff out there. I don't think he's that young quite, though.
Okay, I'm gonna go poodoo on y'all's speculation and bring it back to finishing the episode and explaining why me and Caleb got emotional. So finally, Luke is getting up the elevator. There's that last hallway of Dark Troopers. And this reminded me of Darth Vader in Rogue One a little bit.
Yes, that's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And we get to see, like we were talking about, the power that Luke had. Especially when he takes down the last Dark Trooper. And he's crushing it with the Force. And all of that was just awesome to see. And I think for you, just like it was for me, it was emotional seeing that because this is a character that we've grown up with.
Yeah.
This is the main character in the Star Wars that we grew up watching. And to see him on the screen again in a way that we haven't seen him.
Yeah.
And with the power, the potential that we always wanted to see him having, that's what got to me.
No, I would just echo all of that. It really is like, the moments you're growing up as a kid and you're imagining yourself as Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Yep.
That's how you would imagine yourself. And that's how you would imagine Luke Skywalker to be after Return of the Jedi. So, it really does play at your childhood memories when you see that.
Well, that's not what got my emotions going. I didn't cry. But that's cool if you want to cry. But what got my emotions going was the handoff from Din to Luke.
And that's the other part too.
Yeah, that was pretty emotional.
But stepping back just a second, something that got me wondering was, the Dark Troopers stopped when Luke Skywalker. Do you think they're Force sensitive? Do you think that's what the midichlorians are for?
Huh.
And they can sense it? They can sense the Force? Because what he said was, or what Moff Gideon said was, the only people that will still be alive is me and the child. So do you think they're trained not to kill people with midichlorians in them?
I think that's a good possibility. And I think they're trained to sense high midichlorian count. Not that they're trained to sense the Force. I think those are a little bit different. They're just sensed to feel that someone has high midichlorian count, and when they do, it's either attack or protect, I guess.
Okay. Those are cool.
Well, I just noticed that they stopped when Luke got near.
Yeah, they did.
Do you think...
They all turned around to face the direction of the threat.
True.
Well, so they know, like, they could sense that he was coming.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like, do you think Force told them to stop?
Like that powerful, huh?
Like Luke was that powerful?
To get him just stop Stone Cold.
He was just like doing a drive-by in his X-Wing. He was like, stop.
Stop, you will.
Those are not the doors you're pounding.
Whoa.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I don't know.
I mean, because...
Like telepathically?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Although, how does he know... Obviously, the answer is going to be through the Force. How does he know that Dark Troopers are in there? But
through the child.
Yeah,
because the child was.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's yeah.
Like, because we see them connect as he's riding by. Because we see Grogu perk up, and then his ears, and then he starts watching the monitor, and he's like, "Oh, that's my homeboy. I saw him like last week when I was sitting on that rock."
Yeah. Oh man, that would be cool to see Luke's perspective of connecting with Grogu.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he was on the rock where he was? Or no, that was after he exiled.
Yeah, that was.
I shouldn't say. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool regardless. But he's probably somewhere that's pretty cool for a Jedi to meditate. I mean, Jedi seem to pick out pretty cool spots. And I feel
like this all got me thinking, what if Luke saw through Grogu's eyes where he was, why he was in trouble,
He force-timed him.
Because, Yoda talks to Luke about how Luke saw Han and Leia and the trouble that they were in.
Right.
And think about if you're a Force being, if you're a Force-capable being, if you're a Jedi, and you can see the future like that, and you're powerful like we see Luke is.
Well, we do
Can you see across space and time through the Force?
Yeah, that's
I think
true
so.
because Anakin saw that Padme died during childbirth. So we know that they can see into the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think somehow when that connection happened when Grogu was on Tython, either A, Luke just felt another Force user out there, and we know that Luke's still trying to establish a Jedi Academy currently, so he's going to hunt down all Jedi possible to train them. I think that's one option. Or B, I think he did somehow sense through the Force that this individual that's connecting with me currently is fixing to be in trouble soon, so I'm going to track him down. I think either or is certainly a possibility, no doubt. But yeah, to kind of conclude the whole Luke thing, and I'll go ahead and say it, I think all four of us here, honestly, Luke wasn't our preferred Jedi to show up. Is that kind of true? I think we all kind of came to that conclusion.
Season,
like we didn't want it to necessarily connect to the Skywalkers as much.
I didn't.
Right.
I'll admit that. Yeah.
So
but I'm not disappointed.
Right. And that's what I was going to say. Like, I think I'll go ahead and say it. We might have initially pushed back to Luke, but the execution of this, I mean, you can't complain about it. I couldn't ask for more. I would not have been, honestly, if it had been Ezra, I would not be this happy. I wouldn't have been that emotional.
Yeah.
Because again, it goes back to you spend your whole life just reflecting on this character. And me as a kid, I would somehow try to act like the character and emulate some of his traits into my life. So yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better moment. And I think a lot of Star Wars fans out there are probably feeling that. So regardless of how you felt about the CGI, whenever he took off the hood, the voice, or any of that kind of stuff, just take a step back if you're finding yourself being negative about that and just realizing the fact that we got an epic Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So I'm sure BA is appreciative of that, but also I think all Star Wars fans should just be appreciative of that fact that we finally got that cool green Skywalker saber in hardcore action again.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I was going to say with, and you said it before I did, but, in Rogue One, we get the raw youth power of Darth Vader, and now we're getting the raw youth trained power of Luke Skywalker in full Jedi, which we don't. I mean, we do get in Return of the Jedi, but it's not like it's not comparable to what we got tonight.
Okay. Yeah,
it's a different type of power.
Well, and I also think
it's just
too. You think
like extreme strength.
You think about how films were shot too. I think it's compared. I mean, Rey had pretty epic scenes because they're able to shoot scenes like that now. I feel like if Return of the Jedi had been filmed in this time frame, we would have seen that exact same kind of action from Luke. So I don't know.
I just feel like he's more refined.
Oh yeah, no, I
as far as
agree
his
with that.
capabilities and everything. In Return of the Jedi, he's still sort of like, to me, Padawan Anakin is stronger than Luke is.
Jedi Knight Anakin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when he's under Obi-Wan in like Attack of the Clones,
I gotcha.
I think that Anakin is more powerful than Luke in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that, I think.
Because, he's going through the proper training and has been since he was, 10?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
That's an interesting take. What do you think out there listening? Who's more powerful, Return of the Jedi Luke or Attack of the Clones Anakin? That's a good poll question, honestly.
I think Anakin. I'm going with Anakin.
Of course you are. I mean, Anakin's your favorite character.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm feeling that this way with, like, Mandalorian Luke. We can say that now. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah, we just need to reflect on that a little bit.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, Mandalorian Luke is more powerful than, I think, Revenge of the Sith Anakin.
Oof, I don't know about that.
I mean, think about it, though.
I don't know about that.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Would you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I think that's another poll question.
Absolutely.
That one's tougher.
I
that
think
one's
he's
close.
We're talking about how his power in this episode reminds us of Darth Vader's power in Rogue One.
That's a very.
I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
I think that this Luke Skywalker is as powerful, if not more so, because it's not the Jedi way to exert your power onto things.
Agreed.
He might be more powerful than Darth Vader was in his entire life.
Yeah.
Well, and another thing I was thinking of is like, it's more practiced. Like, I think they practice more now that they are. That's all. Like in Rogue One, Darth Vader had been Darth Vader for a little while, and so he knows how to be Darth Vader, just like Luke Skywalker has been Luke Skywalker, the last Jedi, until like 20 years later. I mean,
well, until now, I guess. Now that he's got Grogu.
Yeah, I guess so.
Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, so like it's more of a refined power.
Yeah.
That's the way I'm feeling. I don't know.
No, that's fair.
I mean,
that's a
it's
fair
just
argument.
it's just fluid. He knows what his next move is. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then push and then choke and then like squeeze and crush and like it's
Graceful.
Slice.
it's very
Crash,
great,
burn.
very
Bop
graceful.
it,
Graceful,
twist
like he
it.
knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's practiced. He's practiced.
It's in tune with the Force.
Yeah.
And like,
I'm one with the Force, the Force
this
is
is the Luke that fans have wanted to see for
yes,
a long
it is.
time.
It is. And they
So-
executed.
Favreau.
We see him take off the hood, right. We see him take off the hood, and, he says that, it's time for Grogu to go with me.
And train.
Yep. And he says that talent not practiced is talent wasted,
Pretty
something
much.
like that.
Pretty much.
So he says that he's only afraid. The only reason he doesn't want to go is because he wants Mando's permission to go.
I thought that was powerful.
Yeah, that one made me.
And that's when it got
Tough for
emotional for me.
Yeah.
Not like,
you. No, I gotcha.
but like that's when I was like, oh gosh, because like then you see, and I knew the helmet was going to come off
Yeah,
again.
yeah. That was,
yeah.
And I was like, because I'm sitting here thinking like they're looking back and forth at each other. I was like, if he doesn't take his helmet off, I'm gonna be so mad.
He touches his little hand on his helmet.
Yeah, and then Pedro starts tearing up. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, very good acting.
It was a very incredible way to end the season. So Luke and R2 and Grogu are in the elevator, and they have
Hey,
one last
I got a
look at each other.
question. Do you think R2 and Grogu recognize each other?
Absolutely. I do. I think so.
I didn't even think about that either.
Yeah.
Because
R2 definitely recognizes the Yoda part.
Yeah,
the Yoda
yeah.
aspect of it.
Do you think he's like, wow, look at this toy?
I think they're
he has a
definitely
full-on conversation with Grogu.
there's definitely like you're fixing to be my new best friend kind of moment right there.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool. Just that entire sequence was cool. It was emotional. It tugged at your heartstrings. I would agree. I would second that Din saying goodbye to Grogu was just as emotional as Luke arriving and being back. And we end there. Din, Cara, Finnick, Bo, Casca, and Moff Gideon are all in the cruiser. And we say goodbye there. And Grogu and Luke go their separate ways, and R2.
And so I'm wrong again. I thought that Grogu would speak by the end of the season, and he did not.
I think
I was
agreed with
wanting
that.
it. When he got in the elevator, I was wanting him to go, and he didn't even reach out and like wave or anything.
Yeah.
I was wanting him because he just like held on to Luke's glove, and that's fine.
Mhm.
But I was wanting him to be like, Din
Bye, Dad.
or like Din or something.
Yeah, it would have been
Mando.
cool. But I will say this, for me, in Star Wars, I think silence with emotional music is more powerful than dialogue
Yeah.
in Star Wars for me sometimes. And I think that was one of those moments.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a good point right there. Revenge of the Sith, when Darth Vader loses his stuff.
Or the remastered Return of the Jedi,
Yeah,
when
where
they made
put
Darth
that.
Vader do
Yeah.
that same
But
thing.
anyway, we
Anyway.
hope that you enjoyed that chapter. But guess what? We're not done there. There's an end credit scene, guys, and I don't know if this teases the future of the Mandalorian show or if it's a spinoff or what. I know people are going crazy out there, but regardless, stick around for the end credits. And I'm sure, again, if you are listening at this point, hopefully you've seen after the end credits, we go to Tatooine. We go to Jabba's palace specifically, and Bib Fortuna sits at the Hutt throne. And he has gained some weight.
Yeah.
And Fennec just comes down there, wipes out all the Gamorrean guards, wipes out all of Bib Fortuna's crew, peeps, and Boba Fett comes down there. And Bib's like, oh, I'm glad that you're back home, basically. And Boba's like, nah, he offs him. And we get a really cool moment. Y'all know I'm a big throne guy because of the thing that Game of Thrones just put inside me. When Boba sits at that seat, I got chills, and then it flashes and it says the Book of Boba Fett coming in December 2021. So a lot of people online are going crazy, and I did this research real quick before we came back here. A lot of people think that this is a complete, entire different spin-off show, Boba Fett focused. A lot of people think that Season 3 is going to be focused on Boba Fett, and we're taking a break from Din Djarin and Bo-Katan for the time being. For me personally, I don't know how y'all feel. If y'all want to dive into that, we can. We can talk about that. But for me, honestly, I'm just excited that we're going to get Boba Fett more, and I'm not necessarily worried about what's outside of that currently. I think there's too much money involved for them to not come back to Din Djarin and Grogu at some point. So I still think we're getting that story finished, regardless if it's Season 3 of The Mandalorian we focus on Boba Fett or it's an entire different thing. What was y'all's thoughts on that reveal, Nolan? I'll go to you first.
So talking about the money, they already said that The Mandalorian is coming back in December of 2021.
Right, same time, which makes it questionable.
And for me, I wouldn't think they would release two things of that magnitude on top of each other.
Agreed.
It doesn't make any marketing sense at all. So
Agreed.
I am leaning towards the rumors of this is the next chapter in The Mandalorian.
Okay.
And, we might do a season on the book of, because you read something on the internet that was like the first two seasons was the book of Din Djarin. The next season will be the book of Boba Fett, and then the next season will be the book of, Bo-Katan and Mandalore or something like that, or just keep going through like that. So, I mean, I'm not sure.
Which would line up with them labeling these as chapters and not episodes. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Huh.
Wow. Did not think about it like that.
So, I don't know.
I didn't think about it like that, but that makes perfect sense.
There's potential. Now, I don't know. I don't know which one I prefer. I do not know which one I prefer because I don't want to be done with Din. And I don't want to be done with Grogu.
No, me either. Me either.
I don't know. And I'm seeing, again, conflicting stuff. So, there's that possibility where Season 3 is Boba Fett. But there's also, I've seen possibility that the Book of Boba Fett's really short, and it's just going to be something that they do after Season 3 of The Mandalorian has finished viewing in December.
You know what would make it okay with me, though, is if a later season picked back up on Din Djarin.
Yeah.
Or, I want Din Djarin to be involved in the entire thing. He should be the main character throughout it all, in my opinion. But to pick back up on Grogu in another book, that's how it would make it okay for me for the next season to be the Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
Like you were saying after the episode was over, if we went through a season that was the Book of Boba Fett, the Book of Bo-Katan, then the Book of for some reason Grogu comes back because he can tell through the Force that Din Djarin and Bo-Katan are in trouble or something like that. That would make it okay with me.
Yeah. It'd be really cool if they ended on the Book of Mandalore, and that's how all of it ends.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. I don't know. I mean, the possibilities are endless. BA, what are your thoughts on just the ending, and maybe what do you think the future of The Mandalorian is?
I I'm gonna pose a question to you guys. Do you think, because we've talked about it a lot through every chapter, I think, and even our rewatch about and all the speculation that we had, do you think there's become an oversaturation of like original trilogy characters and old characters that The Mandalorian has lost some of its charm?
I do think that they did put a lot of their eggs in the basket of season 2. That I don't know who else they could bring in a Din Djarin story, and that does tend to make you lean toward the next season of Mandalorian is Boba Fett's book, quote quote.
Well, I mean, it doesn't say it's not the Din Djarin, it's the Mandalorian,
right?
And so I think that gives them a little bit of flexibility with their characters. So, and you know, we get a lot of background on Boba Fett this season, and for me, I'm not finished with Din Djarin, but there's nowhere to go other than back to Mandalore for me and Din Djarin.
Din Djarin's mission of getting Grogu to the Jedi has been finished. His mission that was given to him in chapter 1
to be safe.
He has finished that mission. So, yeah, I would say the only place for Din left to go now is Mandalore with Bo. But the only obstacle in their way is Moff.
Yeah.
Moff's not going to just go down without a fight. And I don't think they're going to get to Mandalore just perfectly easily.
And I just thought of something. All the different divisions and sects within Mandalorians themselves, like the Watch, and, you know, like Boba Fett himself.
Right.
That could be another obstacle for this going forward.
Oh, here's another thing that I picked up on. When you said that, it reminded me.
Yeah.
You know, Din doesn't pick his helmet back up.
Huh.
He just kind of stands there.
He stands there.
I think he's done. He's not done with the helmet. He's going to keep using it like Bo-Katan does. I think he's moved past that creed, though.
You think so? Ooh, so what's going to happen?
What's going to happen? What's going to happen when he meets the armorer?
Yeah, when he meets runs across the Watch again.
Any clarity on that?
So I do think there's another story then for next season or a future season whenever they decide to do it. I will honestly, and I'll go ahead and say it, I don't think this is going to ruin our record. We're 100%. We're not done with Din Djarin. They're not going to leave Din Djarin with the Darksaber and claim to the Mandalorian throne and not go back to his character, even though he finished the Grogu mission. Like, they're not just going to do that. This is finally their opportunity to finally explain Mandalorian culture and how it connects to all of this Skywalker saga stuff throughout all of these years. So I don't think they're done. And now I did say last week that I'm glad that The Mandalorian is still focusing on Din Djarin because it's still Din Djarin's story. I do still hope that that's the case. I think right now, personally, while I'm extremely excited for the book of Boba Fett, I still, for some reason, want those two separated. Not necessarily that they don't interweave. I don't know why I feel that way. I just want to see Din Djarin again next December as well, is what I'm saying. I just don't want it to only be Boba Fett.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. My preferred, personally, would be that they are separate things.
Yeah. My preferred thing, I guess, to kind of wrap up my thing, would be they stick to Season 3 like normal for Mandalorian, and maybe the Book of Boba Fett is just something short that they do right after Season 3 wraps up. That way, Star Wars is, again, just trying to claim the entire month of December. Yeah. Like they did with the movies,
because for us, you know, The Mandalorian, in the context of this show, has always been Din Djarin.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like that probably, to me, I don't want that to change, really.
Yeah.
We like this character.
And a lot of people like this character.
Yeah.
A lot of people love Grogu. And I'm a little worried, too, if they decide to not have Grogu in the show anymore, or, like, common viewers going to continue to show up as much.
Yeah.
That's one question that I have.
I'm not
currently
afraid of that. I'm thinking that we're going to get little peeps into his training every so often.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Jon Favreau talked about at the beginning of this thing that he wanted this to turn into Game of Thrones. He's got that opportunity. He's got his important character Grogu in one location.
Yeah.
He's got Din Djarin in one location. He's got Boba Fett in one location. His Game of Thrones reality thing that he wanted to do, we talked about way back in August. It's right here. It's there at his feet if he wants to pursue it. So we'll see. Regardless, I hope that all of you listening really enjoyed that finale. It was a great ride. And again, I don't know how y'all feel here, but for me personally, this is probably the most excited for Star Wars I've been since The Force Awakens. So, and this is the 5-year anniversary today. So 5 years it's been since I've felt this kind of excitement for the future. They got a lot of things going on. They got a lot of shows in this Mandalorian time frame that are going to connect with each other. And guess what? Since it's in the Mandalorian time frame, then you can always count on Mando Talk to talk about that. So we're going to be sticking around. We're always going to be here to talk Star Wars. And we're always going to be here to connect with you guys. So we really appreciate you listening. And let us know what you thought about the finale. Reach out to us on socials. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Mando Talk. Talk to us, and we'll talk back with you. BA, what are your final, just sum it up, what did you think about the finale?
Kind of at a loss for words, if I'm being honest. There's a lot going on in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I know we felt, like you mentioned, this for that new sequel trilogy, but I think it's been so long that this is a refreshing taste that for Star Wars fans to have so much to look forward to.
I would agree. I would agree to that. Jacob, what are your final closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, same here. I'm just, I'm just like, actually feeling grateful that we got the close to this season that we did, that we got the story that we did over these past 2 seasons. And man, I'm so looking forward to the next chapter.
Next year.
Next year.
4 year
where
away.
The next chapter is.
Yeah.
And it'll be a long wait, but it'll be worth it. I can't wait, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And like you said, BA, this is something that I think a lot of Star Wars fans should be happy about, you know, because like you said, it's like a fresh taste, a fresh perspective of a new good story that we get to see in Star Wars.
Yeah. Nolan, why don't you finish, throw out any conclusions you have for season 2 of The Mandalorian, but also let's throw a message out to those that have always been sticking with us throughout this season.
Yeah. So first of all, my thoughts on this final episode of The Mandalorian Season 2 were very excited, a little spoiled, but...
That does suck, man. I'm so sorry.
I mean, it's like, but it's okay because, honestly, you guys are great. You guys are why we're here, so we appreciate everybody that's hung out with us and it's been with us for the duration, the past couple of years, and we want to keep doing it. So from us to you guys, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and we have spoken.